I'm the marketing director for the Digital Office Platform Division, so my team is responsible for the marketing of the vPro platform.
Right. So what's new with Waybridge?
Well, we're advancing Waybridge on all three of its value vectors: security, manageability, and energy efficient performance. Some of the big features in terms of security are our new trusted execution technology, formerly codenamed Legrand, and that allows you to really strengthen the security around virtualized software. We're also enhancing our system defense filters that can screen network traffic for malicious behavior. And we're also adding a capability to allow a system that does not have its OS active because it's powered down to securely come on to an 802.1x or Cisco NAC network. Some other new features associated with, say, manageability, we're also bringing in support for the latest management standards called DASH and WS-MAN. So continuing to align Intel with the manageability standards, which we've been involved with for the last 15 years. We are also adding new performance capabilities through the Core 2 Duo processor. So if you look at from a year-on-year perspective, the highest volume vPro processor that we introduced in 2006 versus the highest volume one that we'll have in 2007, it's over a 30% increase in performance, while simultaneously reducing the power between 50 and 60%.
So vPro features come in the chipset.
Well, it's a combination. So it's the processor, the chipset, the networking, and firmware inside the system working together to be able to create new capabilities that you wouldn't be able to achieve if you were working just at the component level. The first problem that we're solving is how do you make sure that VMM layer, the virtual machine monitor, is exactly what you expect it to be, because there's a lot of concern if somebody was able to put spyware or a virus inside that layer, that the security software that runs inside your operating system wouldn't be able to detect it. Trusted execution technology creates a chain of trust based on the hardware to make sure that when you launch that virtual machine monitor, it is exactly the piece of software that you expect to launch. The second thing that our new technology is doing is to help provide a hardware-based enforcement of isolation between virtual machines. You don't want data from one virtual machine mixing with another virtual machine if it's not authorized to do so. And the hardware that we're creating in the new vPro platform is a hardware enforcement of that memory isolation policy. Sometimes you want to separate data based on its sensitivity level. So you may have some data that, hey, it's general, open, low security information. You may have something that's very highly sensitive, things like patient data. The example we showed today would be top secret government data. You can imagine a pharmaceutical company that would want research papers and things like that that are from their highly confidential R&D, very protected. Now, you can use virtualization technology to run separate instances of Windows or other operating systems to separate these things from each other. Now, what that means is that information from one virtual machine can't travel to the other one. So I couldn't cut a section out of a highly confidential document and go paste it into a non-secured email, for example. I couldn't read memory from my unsecured partition to my secured partition.
How did you do that?
So
using a vPro?
Yeah, so the virtual machine monitor, taking advantage of the hardware hooks, the hardware capabilities inside of vPro, is able to provide the management or hardware enforcement of the management policies that prohibit those particular kinds of behaviors.
Okay.
But the addition of what's called Intel virtualization technology for directed I/O provides virtualization of the rest of the platform in addition to the processor. So now you're able to prevent unauthorized accesses, from the platform hardware. What it does is it assigns I/O resources such as hard drives, USB ports, to individual virtual machines. And so if you assign a set of USB ports to virtual machine A, those USB ports cannot have access to any data that is in, say, virtual machine B. Now, So what that does is prevent what's called a DMA, or a direct memory access, from a hardware resource like a USB port directly to the memory of an unauthorized virtual machine.
Okay.
The virtual appliance approach is just one of several ways that you can use virtualization to solve a business problem. Now, you also understand that Lenovo, for example, has been shipping a virtual appliance on, as part of their ThinkVantage technologies for coming up on a year now. The other providers, such as Symantec, Eternity, the Altiris business unit of Symantec, all have virtual appliances in development.
Right.
Now, the technology development around that is going really well. As I think Symantec told you here today, they demonstrated the product working and everything's doing fine.
They're pushing the product. It was supposed to be shipping earlier this year, and then they're pushing.
I mean, I can't comment specifically on their schedule. I'd rather leave that to Symantec to talk about their products. But these new business models, they involve new distribution models for software, whole new ways of distributing complete software environments, and that's going to involve business issues. It's going to take some time for the whole industry to work through. The use of Windows CE in the current generation of virtual appliance was expedient because the ISVs already had Windows-based software, intrusion prevention software that ran on Windows, and configuration management technology that ran on Windows. It was an easy port for them to be able to do that. Right. So, could it, in future versions of the virtual appliances, could it be something else? Absolutely. It could be some kind of Linux or any other kind of operating system that you wanted to use.
Right. On VMM side, is Intel providing a VMM, or is the goal to get third parties to do that?
Well, we're doing a little bit of both. We're working with the companies that provide VMM as a standalone piece of software. So companies like Parallels, VMWare, to be able to offer VMM software packages that take advantage of the hardware features in the vPro platform. We're also working with the virtual appliance vendors, where we have helped them co-develop the lightweight virtual machine monitor that's inside the virtual appliance. So that's a joint development effort. But really what we're trying to do is be able to build up a robust virtualization ecosystem to kind of accelerate the deployment of the applications.